All right, welcome once again to week 6 of the Coaches Show, and once again, always joined by the voice of the Greenbacks and the PCC Beavers, Austin McNorton, on your 1290, joining us remotely again, which I'm not sure if I like. Last time he did that, it ended up in a loss
Yeah,
for us.
awesome.
So.
What are we
I know.
doing
I was
here?
just gonna say, everybody cross your fingers and toes. I don't want to jinx it again because it was all my
Yeah.
fault last time.
I think it was just all your fault.
Yeah. So.
Oh, 100%. So we are definitely
Yeah.
praying that doesn't happen again.
No. And as always, head coach of the now 4-1 Pratt High Greenbacks, Brent Holting. Thanks for joining us tonight, Brent.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Big win this week
win.
against Hoisington. I mean, not only just a long-standing rival. I think in our pregame, Austin, we said, what was it? The first time Pratt had played Hoisington was 1938. That rivalry's been going back that long. So one of the longer-standing rivalries for Pratt as far as schools go, but also finish off a 3-game road stretch. You know, we had that loss in the middle against Cheney, and to be able to finish it with a win against a team like Hoisington, to come home and kind of start in front of the home crowds, a heck of a win. Talk a little bit about that.
And I don't know if you knew, their first home loss
Yes.
since 2018.
I think we did hear their announcer say that.
Yeah.
The last time they lost too was to Travis Tice and Pratt.
And in 2018 at home. Yeah. So anytime you can end a long home winning streak like that, obviously, you're playing a quality opponent. And I thought we played so much better in so many areas. It's unfortunate. I told the kids, I thought if we'd have brought that effort and intensity the week before, we'd be 5-0 now. But they did what they needed to do. We bounced back. I thought our kids played with great passion, with great effort. I thought we executed much, much better at a much higher level than we had offensively. We had a couple breakdowns defensively, and they make you do that because you have to go to the same guy every single time in that option, and that's what makes it hard. And they got a couple runs there. But we were able to contain them a lot, get a lot of 3-and-outs, get our offense on the field, had some big drives and some big plays, and I was really proud of our kids.
Coach, did you feel like that loss against Cheney kind of, in a way, just like we saw with Kansas State against Oklahoma, did you feel like it just kind of refocused and said, all right, we can't take any weeks off at all or anything for granted?
Yeah, I think what it was one of those, I know the kids would probably tell you we've been on them hard for weeks about just little stuff, little technical stuff that, it's hard when you're a 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old to be like, man, they're all over me about this. And we just beat a team 40-7 and we just beat a good Heston team. And we were like, hey, these are the little things, the little mistakes if we want to get to where we want to go. And unfortunately that's hard sometimes to convey. And I think last week they're like, man, it did cost us. We didn't do the little things right. And I thought our kids, credit to them, came out with a great attitude. Our effort, our intensity, both scout team and varsity was really high last week. And so I think when you have a great week of practice like that and you're prepared, and then you get a little extra juice going into a rivalry game. It was their homecoming. You never want to be someone else's homecoming unless you can break it, right? And so I think our kids came out with the appropriate amount of force and passion. And when our kids do that, they play really well.
Yeah, big night. We had, Cheney on their senior night, then Hoisington on their homecoming night, and 2 tough teams to go along with it. Yeah, so to finish that 2 of 3 road game stretch, had our work cut out for some of the stats from the night. Really on the ground, it was pretty even. Looked like we rushed for 265, Hoisington for 267 on close to similar amount of carries. In the air, we had the advantage, throwing for 203 and 4 touchdowns to their, what do I got here? Only 82 yards and a pick there. Talk a little bit about just kind of that attack. We saw it from really the big 3 for Pratt, with Johnny, Max, and Carson, had both ways, in the air, on the ground. I mean, those guys had big games.
Huge. I mean, anytime you had, I think Carson had close to 50, Max had over 100, Johnny had over 50 passing yards, and then all 3 of them had over 80 rushing yards.
Yeah.
When we can do that, I feel like that makes us really, really tough to defend. When we have those guys are all great ball players. Jair obviously had a huge game receiving, so did Justice. Tay had a big one too. But I think anytime you can get those 3 rolling downhill, it opens up everything, and they open up everything for each other. They complement each other so well. And I thought as the game wore on, we started doing that. We were able to hit them with some big pass plays early because they had 11 guys in the box, and we've got to be able to do that. And I thought that was huge. To loosen them up. And then I thought when we did that, and then we kind of wore them down a little bit, their defensive front so big, and and they were having to start rotating. And then we got the advantage and started chunking off some big plays in the second half. And so I thought anytime we can, we've been talking about running our trap play back to the weak side all year. We got to get that right. We ran it really well on Friday. They were trying to cross Easton's face to stop our power with Max because that's the way to do it. And they were doing that so hard, we got the trap going backside against that. And, Carson hit 2 or 3 runs there for 12, 15, 20 yards and got him out of doing that. And then all of a sudden Max was open, and then Johnny gets open. And so it all complements each other. And when they can all get rolling and playing well like that, it makes us pretty dangerous to defend.
Coach, during the Pratt Regional Medical Center postgame show, you told Cody and I that first touchdown pass to Justice was something that you actually saw the day before. Is that something you can kind of explain a little bit more, that you saw that open up for him and how it resulted in Johnny's first touchdown pass and his first touchdown catch?
Well, it was just a game film thing, start thinking, it's my job to think of counters that the defense is doing, because obviously we see new stuff all the time with this offense, how we're going to be defended, especially when we can run the ball really well. And like I said, they had so many guys in the box at the beginning of the game that we drew that up. I actually kind of drew it up Wednesday right before practice, just been thinking about it all day. And finally about noon Wednesday, I was like, I think I got an idea, and drew that play up and not ever anything we had practiced. We practiced it Wednesday, we practiced it Thursday. And, I told the guys, this is going to go for a touchdown first time. And they agreed. They were all gung ho and they were really excited. We ran it early in the game, and, Johnny did a great job of fading deep enough to be able to get the pass off, draw people to him. And Justice, was wide open, caught it and went in for a touchdown. So that was something we thought we could see, because what teams have been doing is, like I said, is they've been going to the strong side so hard to try to stop our 6 and our 8, our sweep and our power over there, that a lot of times that corner is playing backside force, and he's also trying to play corner. And that's really hard to get your eyes right when a kid like Johnny's coming at you, because you better get downhill or he's going to outrun you. And so I thought we had an opportunity. We had the 1st and 5 after the encroachment penalty. So, hey, we're going to take a shot here and take a trick play. If it works, if it doesn't, hopefully we're just in 2nd 8, 2nd and 9. If we get sacked, nothing worse, or an incomplete, we'll go for it and then we hit it.
How contagious is that when you get a kid score, their first time score of the season, like Justice and Tay, especially being a sophomore.
And Jair.
Was that Jair's first touchdown?
Passing,
yeah. But it's kind of the first time a kid gets in the end zone, kind of the whole team gets excited for him, and you can kind of feel that. How exciting is that, getting some of those guys their first tutties for the year? You
always love that. We want everyone to be involved, everyone to have a great experience. Obviously, we're going to ride what's working, but anytime you can do that, I think, and anytime you can do it on a trick play, that's always fun for kids, on a trick play. It's always fun, like Drake's play. It's always fun to do that, and then kids get excited about it. They want to run it again. Anything you can do to spice up practice, especially this time of year a little bit. And then anything you can do that you think, hey, now all of a sudden teams got to say, hey, man, we got to watch for that. We just can't come up on this spin 9, and we can't just sell out on it. Anytime you can do that to constrain defenses, I think that's the big deal for me with trick plays and the stuff that we have is I want to back them off and make them think about it, so then our normal stuff works better.
Coach, talk about kind of what you said to the team at halftime. Hoisington has the momentum. They get that interception to kind of into that second quarter. What do you kind of say? And then to play the way that you did in that 3rd and 4th quarter and just kind of put that game to a rest. What did you say to kind of rally the troops a little bit?
Well, do I need to get my censor button here? Do I need to have the beeps ready?
I wasn't necessarily pleased at halftime with how we ended the first half. Let's say that. We talked about what we needed to do to change that. We talked about actually just going out and doing your job. And that we're backed in a corner right now. They're coming out, they're swinging, and now we're in a corner. And the only way to get out of a corner is to fight your way out of it. That was kind of the talk. Like, when you're backed into a corner, your only way is forward. So get out of the corner, go fight out. Go fight. We're as bad as we ended. Then we talked about as bad as we ended, we're still up 7. We're still up 7. And we scored 20 points in the first half. We just didn't get the ball back for the last 7 minutes or so, it seemed like. So we talked about being up 7 and just clean stuff up and do what we're supposed to do. Make our right reads offensively and defensively. We missed a couple big reads there at the end of the half that cost us. So we talked about doing the right thing, making the right read every single time. And that's what they force you to do. And that's why, Hoisington's always successful is they prey on you being undisciplined. That's what that option offense does. It preys on being undisciplined defensively. But if you're disciplined, you have a chance to do some really good things. And I thought we showed that when we were disciplined. So we talked about that. Obviously, even the second half, we came out, and I thought Johnny's play was just so big because it turned everything around. He ripped him. We went down and scored. Tay and Max did a great job in their connection there. Went down and scored. Now we're up 2 touchdowns, get a stop, score again, and then, then they're in a position kind of like our offense they don't want to be in, and they're not comfortable being in.
Yeah, that play was huge. I'll back it up just a little bit. Can you talk about your thought process at all going into halftime, the play calling there? Some of Greenback Nation was like, man, you're going to have to ask Coach about his play calling on the coach's show. And I said, I'm never going to coach or question Brent, but I kind of guess that's what I'm doing now.
Sure.
What was did you see something that thought, we can take some shots here with as little time, knowing that if they're incomplete, that might give Hoisington a shot at the ball?
Yeah, I'm always going to believe in our kids. I mean, I think that's the thing. I think sometimes you got to play the game score, and then the interception was not supposed to go there. We had Tay wide open on the dump. They blitzed off the edge. We thought they may do. Unfortunately, Carson just thought they got in his face a little too fast there. If we dump it over to Tay, there's green grass between him. There's about 30, 40 yards between him and their corner, number 4, who was guarding Johnny, and it's we'll see what happens between those two. Right. Yeah. And then the same thing, Johnny, the second down when Johnny was open, we just got it to him a little late. He had about 4 yards of cushion. We'll take that any time. We're going to take our chances with those guys. We thought on film, and they were. I think Jared was open first down. It was third down. And then third down was supposed to be an easy one to Tay, and he runs. If he gets anything, if he gets tackled quick, then he's tackled. If and then we let the clock run out. If not, the first 2 downs we were going to be aggressive. We're going to try to move the ball down the field. We're going to try to score. Third down was supposed to be a dump off, safe play. It just unfortunately didn't quite work out that way. To where if he got tackled, he's in bounds. We'll run the clock out the half. If he makes a big play, then here we go. Then we got a shot because we know if we can just move it a little bit, we've got Adrian back there who we may not score a touchdown, but we can kick a field goal. We felt pretty good about his range. So that's why we thought we could burn him, and we did. If you look back on film, Johnny had 4 steps. You take that any time on a deep ball. And then Jair had a couple steps on the first one. So that's our thought process. I'm always going to believe in our kids and be aggressive. Does it always pay off? No. Sometimes it does. We've had several times where we've scored right at the end of half in the last couple of years. So that's me. I'm going to believe in our kids. I'm going to think they're going to execute. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work out that way, but I would believe in our kids again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm not questioning you. I'm just relaying the man. I'm just the man behind the mic that asks the questions.
Yeah,
we're the voice for the people.
We are the voice of the people.
That's right. That's right.
So, but now getting,
I'm sure there's a lot
through
of
half.
questions.
Me and Austin said in the booth, we're like, man, we need a big play coming out of half. Something to happen, because they kind of had that momentum after that pick going into half. You kind of feel a little bit like how we didn't get any points on the board. They got close. We're like, something big needs to happen. And sure enough, you've said it before. You need a big play. You turn to Johnny Martinez.
That's what he does.
And that was huge. And coming off of a big play, it was almost, on the flip side was when we were on the wrong side of it. Last year against Cheney, Max had that huge run and got the fumble, and they strip it, and it's like, and you could see how deflating that was to Pratt. So you can see how that on a huge run that ends up turning into a big play for Pratt. Just totally, I thought that blew the game open once Johnny did that, and being able to convert.
And then I was proud of her, because I was going to say right after that, we went and punched him in the mouth and moving the ball. And then obviously we hit the big pass play, but before that, we were chunking them. We were moving the ball down the field. And I did think we'd found an offensive rhythm. Obviously the last play of the half where there's 50 seconds left, we're trying to do something. But, the drive before that, when Carson had the rushing touchdown, our only rushing touchdown of the night, we drove that one right down their throat. And it was 10, 12 yards at a time, just on repeat, and had a couple big runs there. I thought our kids had figured something out a little bit at their front. We'd moved our splits. We'd changed some stuff. And we changed a little bit more at halftime, just based on how they were defending us. And so I thought that was big. And then, obviously Max, found Tay. We scored, and then we get to 3 and out. Then we scored again right away. And all of a sudden, then we're able to dictate everything that they do. And so, yeah, Johnny's play, that's who he is. We didn't play anything that right defensively except for the fullback. We got him, and then we messed up not getting the quarterback, and then forced our outside backer to go get him, and then they pitch, and Johnny and Jair were a little bit out of position on that, but credit to Johnny, he didn't give up on the play.
I was going to say, you go back and watch that on film.
He was way down.
And the hustle play to catch back up to that play and even try to do something.
And then that's something, it's a great rip you talked about the other night, our kids do a great job of transferring that. We've really tried to make an emphasis on those rip plays in the open field when someone's running wide open, because we know the ball security is not as good, and those are big plays in a game, and we always want to rip at the ball, get interceptions, rip at the ball, get fumbles, anything we can to make those big momentum plays, and he was able to do that, and it was huge.
Coach, obviously Johnny's play kind of set the momentum for your defense, but how awesome was it to see in such a close game for you to not allow a point in the entire second half and really kind of just say, all right, you're not going to get any more on us like you did in that second quarter?
Yeah, and I thought after that play, really, that was one long play, but then after that, I thought we really buttoned up and didn't allow him to crazy threaten again. And part of that is obviously you score, you go up 2 scores, and then we were able to stop them, like I said, and then go score again. And then all of a sudden they're out of their element. They're out of their element in terms of play calling and what they want to do and hurry up offense. But I think what was awesome to me is how our kids responded. There's when we talked about it, when you face adversity, you can either tuck tail and run, or you can face it and go through it. And I thought our kids went through it. The adversity from last week, first half, ending the way it did, and I thought when you go through stuff like that, I think it really helps your confidence in the end, because now all of a sudden your kids know that they're capable of doing that. And I thought the way our kids came together and played together was awesome.
Well, yeah, and I thought, even taking that adversity speech, a week wide or 5 days wide, coming off that Cheney game, I was talking with some people and I thought, man, I hope that didn't just totally deflate us. I hope, that we can respond and and not let that be like, oh man, we lost our first game. Let's see how mentally tough these kids are. I don't think they could have responded any better. Like, I was like, what's this week of practice going to be like? What's it going to be like coming out against Hoisington? Hands down. I mean, they rose to the challenge, and I was impressed. I thought that was the best.
And that's a good Hoisington football team. I mean, that is a good team. They're big across the front. They're physical. They're 2 backs. The 8 and 11 kid, the Smith and the Moore kid, are good backs, and 4's got a lot of speed. That is a good football team.
Yeah, and big, and we were missing, Brock on the line to match up some of
Mm-hmm.
that size. There was a couple times I saw Ethan Steinmates lined up
Man,
against.
he's been playing awesome.
I don't know what number that was. That was the 300-plus pounder, and I thought he's probably given up 200 pounds to that kid, and he played great.
Oh man, Ethan's been playing awesome. He has been playing phenomenal. He's one of those kids. Well, he's Scout Team Player of the Week this week. For that reason, he's been playing so good that we're like, man, we got to get him over. He was tearing us up, and we're like, we got to get him over and get some varsity reps, because he's just so quick off the ball, and he understands leverage. Those wrestlers again. He understands leverage, and he's doing some incredible things. He was against a guy that was 330, and he's probably $150 dripping wet.
Yeah,
but the guy wasn't moving him backwards. Ethan, he was getting off the ball. He was doing some things in the backfield. So I thought he's a really important piece that we played against them that was able to be effective as small as he was. And so, yeah, really proud of him and the efforts he's made.
Yeah, and I text you on the way home. Everybody had a good game, but I don't know why it stood out to me. I thought Carson had a really good defensive game. It really stood out to me how well on the defensive side of the ball, just making plays in the open field, being where he's supposed to be. I thought he had a great game on the defensive side of things.
And, I've told Carson all along, we go as he goes, and he's one of those kids that sometimes, when he's a great kid when he's confident, and sometimes it gets harder for him because he's so competitive and he's so hard on himself that he gets down on himself some. And we talked about it at halftime, like, dude, I'm not going away from you. You threw an interception the first half. You're my dude. Go make plays. And I thought Carson actually, he got our MVP this week just because of that. I thought he was phenomenal all game defensively. I thought he played great. He played with force. He got downhill, made a ton of tackles. Very first play of the game, they try to run a rocket toss, and he stops it for about a 6-yard loss. And then Carson's our steadying presence in the huddle. He knows the offense. He knows what everyone's supposed to do. He's a great kid. He's really stepped up as a leader this year. Really proud of him, and I thought he played a phenomenal game on Friday.
Coach, we talked to you all season after every game, and even after some blowout wins, we've seen you frustrated after the loss, obviously frustrated. Is this the happiest you've been after a game this season?
I think for sure. And once again, it's all about the process. Wins and losses are going to come. That can't be your outcome, because unfortunately some things happen. And I think it's hard to look at it that way. Are we being the best we can be every week? Are we progressing like we should and doing the right thing? And I thought our kids did that. I thought our kids executed by far. We had some little mistakes, but at least we were in the right areas. Thought we executed by far the best we have offensively, and then defensively, I thought we just flew around with the football and we got off the ball. and you know, you got to be physical against a team like that. They force you to be, or you're going to get embarrassed. And so I was really, really proud of how our kids responded there, and very happy overall with their effort in the week of practice leading up to it, and then Friday night.
You mentioned Carson getting the MVP of the game. I'm going to assume with that big field goal from Adrian,
anytime
that
you
he was
do
the
that.
special teams player.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Amazing.
We were waiting when we'd see it this season, and we really in the booth we were like, this would be the perfect time for a field
Yeah,
goal.
Cody called it. He was like, tonight's the
got
perfect night for it.
It was. I mean, the score was right. You weren't rubbing anything in, but
Right.
I mean, you still needed the points on, and the distance was right. It was kind of all right. Let's see if this is in his wheelhouse. And man, it would have been good from 5-6 yards, even deeper
Oh, for
from
sure.
where he kicked it
Yeah,
at.
I mean, he hit the base of our camera that's a little ways behind the uprights. Yeah, you know, I mean, we knew that we were working today on his range, kind of seeing where we're at today in practice, and we knew Adrian had a big leg also, and Adrian's one of those that he gets a little more range in a game when his adrenaline gets flowing and he kicks it, because obviously he'd been kicking really well on kickoffs the whole game. I mean, he had, you know, even the ones against the wind were inside the 10, and that's pretty hard because it was a pretty stiff wind up there the beginning of the game. And so, yeah, I thought that was a good opportunity for us to work on that. I mean, unfortunately, you know, we had a mistake and got the first extra point blocked, set us behind. But I thought Adrian, you know, it was something we want to work on. We wanted to test, like you said, in a game. It was a perfect setting for it, and it was really a lot of fun to see him come through. I mean, everyone was really, really excited.
Well, and you mentioned his adrenaline during the game after that kick. Boy, that kickoff almost went out of the end zone. The one after he made that field goal, it might have. He was up after that. Yeah. And then if anybody's seen any game film, the stick of the week was, or hit stick. That was unquestionably
the
J.R.
Eastus
Johnson.
Media
I did.
I mean,
Thanks to Tim Rector there at the shot class. See if we can show
that's
that off
awesome.
there. Let's see. There we go.
Yeah.
So this is what it looks like. This is what the kids are getting, the greenback.
That's what they get
hit
every
stick.
week.
And that was the best one we've
And
seen
then
all
on the
season.
back, generally they have their name, the date, who we're playing.
Yeah, take a look at that one. See if we can get her closer there. We got the Eastus Media and a little bit of the coaches show on there. So
yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you, Tim.
Tim does a great job with those. Made one for that. But yeah, Jared Johnson.
that was a
he's been
blast.
wanting one for a long time. He's been wanting one for a long time.
He deserved it after that.
He did.
Yeah, that was
deserved
one. You know, you weren't around here, and I said it to Austin in the booth when we were on the radio. I said, if anybody around Pratt is listening, I would compare that to the Tyler Teasing hit in 1995 against Topeka Hayden. And I'll have to show you that if you haven't seen it. I've got it on my phone still.
I'd like to see that.
Oh, it's incredible. And I think Tice had one against Andale. Somebody texted me that after I said that. They said Tice had one against Andale on a kickoff that was pretty impressive too. But there's only a handful of hits like that I've seen in a while. And so that was
a good
fun
one
to see.
It was fun, and Jair's a hitter, man. I mean, you don't know, Jair's a receiver and all that, but he's a hitter. He'll come up.
Yeah, he showed that.
He'll lay the lumber. Well, he'll do it every day in practice. He'll do it anytime. I mean, Jair likes to take a shot when he can at somebody. So that was a lot of fun. He's been wanting one of those for a while. He's like, I want to get it. So it was pretty cool to give him that. He deserved it.
Oh, heck yeah.
In fact, the great part about that play, if you see it on film, is he'd actually slipped earlier about 12, 13 yards before he got to the ball carrier. He'd actually fallen completely down and got back up and then went and made that hit.
I didn't notice that.
So it was a pretty good effort play on top of being a heck of a hit.
Wow. All right. Smoky Valley coming up this week. Big week, homecoming week. I know you always love homecoming week and all the festivities that distract the kids. For what was the who were the practice players this week leading up to this game?
Well, Ethan Stein.
He got it again. Okay, I thought you said
no. That was for this week. Yeah,
for this week. Okay. And then let's see, what were the other ones? Was that the
and then we
most
got
improved? You usually do
MVP of the game was Carson.
Okay,
and then,
so we touched them all.
And then Scott
and
Tim, and then Jair's hit stick.
Okay. All right. So heading into Smoky Valley, finally back home. We've been looking forward to it. They are 2-3 this season. Let's run down their schedule a bit. Lost their opener to Halstead 42-40, and then wins against Haven, Larned, and I thought that'd be a game against Andale, but no, nobody plays Andale. 57-8, and then Cheney last week. Though that score surprised me a little bit, just based on the Cheney that we saw. That game was tied going into the fourth quarter, 14-14, and then Cheney did pull away from it.
Well, their last touchdown was on a. I don't know if they had their communication exactly right. They were down a touchdown and tried to run a fake punt, and I don't think anyone ran it but the punter and the snapper, and they snapped it over. No one knew where the ball was, and Cheney just
And
ran and
Cheney
grabbed
scored
it
on that.
took it back for a touchdown.
So yeah, kind of an odd
Yeah.
score.
Well, I
Maybe
mean,
not odd, but just when you look at it on
if
paper,
you look at Smokey, obviously Andale's,
yeah.
really good. That Halstead game, they were up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and just had some big plays and go against them, and that momentum thing, and Halstead started playing with their hair on fire and got them. But I think now, if you look at Smokey the last couple weeks versus that Halstead team, they're a markedly better team. They did the same thing we did. They learned from it, and they got a lot better. And they gave Cheney all they could handle. They had some opportunities to do some more things. They're big. They're physical. They got 19 seniors.
Yeah, I heard heavy senior laden team.
Big senior class. Really big, physical, tall. Really big, good-looking kids. And their tailback's really fast. He's a kid. If we let him get out in the open field, I mean, he's fast. We're not going to catch him. And they run that power wishbone.
Yeah, kind of a wishbone. You don't see that very often
You don't see it
anymore.
a ton. They do a lot of misdirection with that. So you really got to read your keys well. You got to stay home when action goes away from you. And then when it's to you, you better pull the trigger quick. So you got to be very disciplined again this week because that's what they do. They hurt you. You run out of there, and all of a sudden they're going to have a huge hole, and they're going to get there in a hurry. And they run hard. Big fullback. He's about 6'3", 225. Big kid.
That is big.
That will lower his head and run over you for yards. So we're going to have to play physical again. We've had a bunch of physical games in a row. That's our schedule, and it's going to be another big test on Friday night because they're a really good football team that's much better than their record indicate. The Halstead loss, like I said, I think was kind of an aberration, and then obviously those last 2 teams they played are two of the better teams of the state. So,
Coach, after realizing how well your team can play when they come in focused and execute well, how important will it be with all the distractions, if you will, during homecoming week? Will it be to stay, all right, Friday night, everyone's there to watch a football game, not just the homecoming festivities?
We talk about that a lot. We talk about that all week this week. I'm sure they get tired of me probably saying it, but this is the main event, right? Homecoming's fun and all that stuff, but the football game's the main event. That's what we got to win because nothing else is fun if you don't win the football game on homecoming. And then we talked, there's going to be a huge crowd. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere. So go out and show them how hard you've worked, and like I told them, we've got 2 guaranteed home games left. That's not very many for you seniors. So why waste one? Why waste it by not preparing, by not being ready to play, by not playing with your full force and potential? So we've talked about it all week. We've had a good week of practice so far, and I anticipate our kids are going to come out fired up and ready to go Friday night.
Yeah, it should be a big crowd. There's a lot going on this weekend. We got the Big Pratt Jam that I think multiple reunions going to be in town. Just some
Greenback Hall of Fame
induction. So yeah, it could be one of those standing room only, which that's kind of how Hoisington was last week. It was kind of fun seeing that Pratt crowd lined up around the track. So it'd be fun to see that at Zerger. Anything, Brock didn't play last week. We expect to see him this week. Okay. I don't want to make you get into too many details
with some injuries, but like I told you last week, we'll be all right. Yep.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot as far as the Smoky game. It's just going to be one of those just come up and see. Austin, you got anything on Smoky here that we need to touch on?
Yeah, just kind of asking about, a lot of teams are kind of in the same boat as now the Greenbacks are this week of saying, boy, we don't see this offense too often. What are some of the challenges with that? And now seeing kind of a unique wishbone saying, all right, what are some of the challenges with this defensively about how you attack this against an offense you don't see very often?
Yeah, it reads. I mean, it messes. There's so many guys in the backfield, kind of like ours, that it messes with your reads a little bit and how you normally play. In your coverages, you're going to play a little different coverages, and we'll see. We'll probably mix in some different fronts than we normally play, just to keep them off balance a little bit. So I think that's the challenge. And then knowing you got to play with force every play. They're a team. They're going to keep coming at you. So just like last week, we talked about whoever wins the line of scrimmage is going to have a big upper hand towards winning the game. So we got to get off the ball. We got to win the line of scrimmage and then take it from there and tackle well.
And kind of speaking on the line of scrimmage, talk about how well Easton Rector played last week, kind of with that, because he was Cody and I's MVP actually on Friday night.
Just kind of, it could have gone a lot of ways, but yeah, we thought with what he was dealing with, dealing with, he was kind of questionable coming into that game.
Yeah,
his impact was, you
kid.
couldn't tell watching that game.
No, he's a tough kid, and he promised me all week that he's like, look, it's gonna be fine. I'm not even gonna notice. It's fine. That's kind of the way Easton is, and he's a tough kid. He's a senior. He rose the occasion. I really thought, another kid I want to point out, I thought Drake Van Scoik played exceptional offensively. He got pushed all night on the offensive side of the ball. I thought he played by far the best game. I thought actually he played probably the best game he's played in his career at offensive tackle. Thought he played really, really well. And when he plays like that with force, he opens a lot of stuff up for us. And then Easton, like you talked about, he had a pretty big boy over top of him all night. And to be able to handle that with his injury, he's just a tough kid. He's a gritty competitor, and I'm lucky to coach him.
Speaking on injury there, Tay Wilson with a gnarly sideways
Yeah.
finger coming
Should
out of
have
that
that
hoist
picture,
game. I know.
yeah.
I wish I should have loaded that picture. I
have
could
it.
have shown everybody what he was dealing with, but popped it right back in there on the sideline. How's he feeling this week?
He's good.
Good.
Just finger.
His wrestlers are tough kids.
Yeah, just a finger,
Yeah.
taped it back up. And I know, talking to his dad, he's like, hey, get back in, let's go.
Yeah.
And Tay's like, all right, let's go. We get back in, there's nothing broken there. So just dislocation.
And
put it
goes
back
in and
in
scores a touchdown
goes
later in
in,
the
scores a
game.
touchdown.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do have we do have a phone in from Liggett again, so we cannot
boy.
get through the show until we air that.
Well,
So-
why would you?
So we're gonna hear what Coach Liggett has to say this week.
Oh, boy.
From Greenback Nation. Let's see here.
Thanks for having me on the show again this evening, guys. And happy birthday, Cody. My question
Thanks,
tonight
Derek.
is for Coach Holting. I know, Coach, you've often referenced the Greenback radio broadcast team of Cody and Austin as the heart and soul of the team. They bring the game to life with the same professional preparation and insight as one could expect from the best in the game, like Brent Musburger, Joe Buck, and Harry Doyle. With all their recent success in the Greenback booth, I heard they were getting offers to step up to the big leagues and become the official voices of ESPN The Ocho's coverage of the 2022 World Cornhole Championships. So my question is, if this happened, Coach, how would you plan to overcome their loss and find a way to still lead the Greenbacks to victory this Friday?
Thanks, Derek.
I mean,
That would be amazing.
can we even win without them? That's the question. I mean, what would Greenback Nation do without them? No, we are very blessed to have you guys. The ESPN, the Ocho would be blessed. I could see Cody calling dodgeball championships. Cornhole, he'd want to go play in the whole time.
Yeah, you bet. Hey,
Probably
you would be my partner.
That's right.
So that might be a conflict of schedule.
guys
That's
would be
right. It would be.
Yeah.
You'd be part-time announcing and part-time
Yeah.
playing. But on Cody's birthday, I got Cody a card that
Uh-oh.
he needs to read.
I got to read this on.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I don't
Oh.
like unexpected surprises.
Coach came
Usually I
prepared.
like to be the one pulling the surprises,
Well,
not being on the
I
other
love
end of it.
Luckily
here.
for him, I had a shirt I wanted to make. My wife couldn't get it made.
Can I
in time.
show this?
Well, yeah.
I don't know if.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You got to read it.
I have to
hold on.
read
You
it
got to
out
read
loud?
it. Yeah. Yeah.
They say that the strong survive. And yet you, weenie boy, continue to have these birthdays. that has got to come straight from Andrea.
That's amazing.
I appreciate it.
No, happy birthday. And we do appreciate you guys and all you do. It's awesome. And I know our kids are fortunate to have you. They love, our kids talk about how can they find the game to listen to it on the radio. And that's a credit to you guys and the atmosphere you've brought. And I do think it helps, get the excitement going of Greenback football. You guys are definitely a big part of that. And it's awesome.
Well, we're glad we can help, Coach. We do just a little small bit to cover what, you guys put in all the work. So, and Austin too, like I said, I usually just wing it each week. So,
There you go.
Austin's the guy that, kind of keeps the ship afloat. So,
No, actually, this Friday night, we're actually talking to our sideline reporter. Brecken Miller's going to come into the halftime.
Oh,
booth with
man.
us.
oh,
She's
great.
gonna
Did
talk
you
to us.
actually get her lined
Yeah,
up to do that?
He's going to come up in the halftime booth and talk to us. So
Oh,
we
great.
actually
So I
have
don't
an
have to do a
official
halftime
sideline
interview or
reporter now.
anything. Okay.
That's good. Yeah. If you,
Yeah, she's our official
for-
sideline reporter. So hats off to the whole team now.
yeah.
There you go.
If you're not familiar with, so we do a vlog. I do a vlog after each game usually on YouTube. Then, and I've been giving the kids a GoPro that they get some footage during the student section. When we score, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
something. It's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
really
fun
cool
to
to
watch.
watch, yeah.
And she's been going down then after the games, post game. And she'll
Yeah.
do interviews with 4 or 5 players and sometimes a coach. And
Yeah, no,
we
she's
put
awesome.
those at the end of the video. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, they're if you're watching this, they're on the YouTube channel too. Watch some of those. There are kind of in the booth series is what we call that. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, that'll be fun to talk to
It'd
her.
be cool. It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
She does a great job with that.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah, she
Coach.
does.
Austin, thanks for tuning in remotely. We plan on
Yes,
seeing you
everyone keep
Friday.
crossing the fingers. I'm not
Yeah.
jinxing it this week. I can't.
We're
Nope.
good.
No
We're
way.
good.
We'll come out ready.
That's right. All right, Coach. Thanks for sitting in with us. Good luck Friday night, and go Greenbacks.
Thank you guys.
All right.